Stage purple, the world of tribe, tradition, and magic. Before there were cities or nations, there were circles. People didn't identify as individuals, they were threads in a tightly woven tapestry of family, tribe, and ancestors. That's the world of stage purple, a stage where survival doesn't happen alone, it happens together. Purple is the earliest form of social organization. It binds people through ritual, myth, and shared superstition. Spirits, symbols, and ancestors guide daily life. Every event has meaning. Every illness, blessing, or misfortune is seen as the result of invisible forces, and the tribe exists to protect its members from these unseen threats. In purple, belonging is survival. There's no concept of me without we. This is the first time humans look beyond the individual and build meaning into their world. Purple says, we are protected by our ways. We survive because we stay together. Break the circle and the spirits may turn against us. And so purple obeys its elders, follows the traditions, and performs the rituals, not for fun, but for survival. The stories passed down aren't entertainment, they're sacred maps for navigating a dangerous world. In this journey, we'll explore the hidden power of stage purple, where it shows up in our modern world, and how understanding this stage can deepen your ability to coach, lead, and connect with clients, especially when they're dealing with identity, belonging, or inner conflict that they can't quite name. When you understand purple, you understand the roots of human culture. And until those roots are honored, nothing built on top will hold. The core values of purple. At its heart, stage purple is about safety through belonging. The world is unpredictable and full of hidden forces, so purple seeks protection through unity, tradition, and the unseen. Here are the values that define purple. Belonging. To be cast out is to die. Your identity comes from your tribe, not your individuality. Tradition. What worked in the past must be repeated. Rituals and customs are passed down as sacred wisdom. Protection. Life is filled with danger. The group guards its members from curses, spirits, and enemies, magic and myths. Events don't happen randomly. They have symbolic meaning. Dreams, omens, and ancestor stories all offer guidance. Honor of the elders. Wisdom is passed through generations. Elders are revered not just for age, but for their spiritual connection and memory of the tribe's story. Sacred spaces and objects. Totems, symbols, and locations are charged with spiritual power. They must be respected. To live in purple is to live by the rules of the unseen. When something goes wrong, a sickness, a drought, a string of bad luck, the question isn't, what did I do? But what spirit did we offend? In this way, purple creates a shared moral order, but unlike blue, which codifies rules and law, purple relies on symbolic logic and collective memory of the tribe. Break the ritual and the ancestors may punish. Honor the tradition and the group remains protected. This stage isn't naive, it's sacred. And even though it comes early in development, it runs deep through the human psyche, showing up again and again, long after people think they've moved beyond it. How purple develops in the individual. Stage purple emerges after the basic survival needs of beige are met. Once the body is fed and the danger subsides, a new need arises, the need to belong. This is the first stage where identity is socially formed. In purple, you are not you are your role in the group. A daughter, a hunter, a protector, a seer. Purple begins to take hold in childhood through attachment to caregivers. The child senses, I'm safe when I'm close to those who care for me. Family rituals, repeated customs, songs, stories, or prayers create a sense of magic and meaning. Cultural myths. Every bedtime story, ancestor tale, or legend introduces a shared worldview. Reward and punishment by invisible forces. Be good, or the monster will come. Say thank you, or the spirit may be angry. These shape behavior long before logic is available. The child is growing through purple begins to associate repetition with safety. If I do what I've always done, I'll be okay. If I step out of line, I risk spiritual or social danger. Purple re-emerges during times of loss or uncertainty, where people return to family traditions or seek signs. Participation in group rituals, religious or cultural. National mourning or celebration, where collective symbols are activated. Fraternity, sorority, or team bonding experiences. Retreats, ceremonies, weddings, or funerals. In short, purple is always waiting underneath. Even the most evolved individuals may find themselves reverting to purple when they long for protection, meaning, or connection to something greater than themselves. Purple doesn't evolve by being outgrown. It evolves by being integrated with reverence. The language of stage purple. Purple speaks in symbols. It communicates not through logic or data, but through myth, metaphor, and meaning passed down through generations. To connect with purple, you must speak to the soul, not to the spreadsheet. Purple trusts language that is evocative. It stirs emotions. Mystical. It suggests hidden knowledge or power. Repetitive. It creates rhythm and ritual. Ancestral. It honors origin and lineage. Words that land deeply with purple. Sacred. Spirit. Ancestral. Wisdom of the elders. It's always been this way. The old ways. We gather. The circle. Rite of passage. Purple doesn't ask for facts. It listens for resonance. It doesn't want proof. It wants presence. It doesn't seek the new. It seeks the known. Language that repels purple includes disruption, rebrand, innovation, hack, optimization, scale. Even if these terms are relevant to your message, when dealing with a purple-centered audience, they may feel soulless, dishonoring, or dangerously modern. In storytelling, purple favors legends over logic, archetypes over analytics, ceremony over strategy. If you want to influence purple, tell a story around a fire, not pitch from the podium. Purple will lean in when it feels remembered, not persuaded. Purple in society. Purple builds the first human cultures. In purple society, purple builds the first human cultures. It is the psychological glue of early tribes, the invisible web of ritual, superstition, and kinship that holds small groups together against the unknown. In purple societies, everything has meaning. The direction of the wind, the shape of an animal's footprint, the timing of the moon, the dreams of the shaman, the illness of a child. Each of these is not just data, it's a message, a signal from the spirit world. Purple societies are defined by elder leadership. Wisdom is aged, not achieved. Ceremonial life. Rituals mark seasons, births, deaths, and hunts. Totems and taboos. Sacred items and forbidden actions. Oral tradition. Stories passed down, never written. Animism. Everything, trees, rivers, animals, has a spirit. Communal survival. There is no I, only we. Purple doesn't separate life from spirit. It doesn't compartmentalize health, work, and community. It sees them as part of the same sacred ecosystem. Even in modern life, purple survives in pockets. Family traditions around holidays, cultural superstitions, throwing salt, knocking on wood, tribal communities and indigenous practices, fraternities, sororities, and secret societies, military and religious ritual, brand fandom with their own initiation rites. When we say someone is like family or we feel called to a group, that's purple at work. In business, purple often emerges in team cultures where the bond goes beyond bonuses, where people belong to each other, not just the mission. It's not scalable, it's not logical, but it is profoundly human. Because before we had systems, science, or sales funnels, we had each other. The gifts of purple. For all its mystery and magic, purple is not primitive, it's protective. It offers psychological and social gifts that are essential to human development and connection. 1. Belonging. Purple is the first stage where humans say we. This collectivist identity creates safety through togetherness. No one is alone because everyone is a part of the tribe. Even today, people yearn for this feeling. A mastermind that feels like family, a team that gets you, a coach who creates a container where your guard can drop. Purple reminds us that transformation rarely happens in isolation. It happens inside shared space. 2. Intuition. Purple sharpens the sixth sense. It listens beyond language to energy, pattern, and unseen signals. This stage trusts gut feelings, omens, and synchronicity, dream interpretation, the presence of ancestors or guides. While orange may scoff at this, many elite entrepreneurs and creatives secretly return to purple's gifts. They don't call it magic, they call it flow, alignment, vibe. But make no mistake, purple was there first. 3. Ritual and rhythm. Purple understands the power of repetition. Ceremony marks time, anchors identity, and brings meaning to the mundane. Think, a morning routine that grounds you, a Friday family dinner, an annual retreat that reconnects your mission. Ritual is not a waste of time. It's how purple tells the body and spirit what matters. 4. Reverence. Purple sees life as sacred. It doesn't try to dominate nature, it tries to understand and respect it. This reverence builds humility. It whispers to the ego, you're not alone. You're part of something larger. And in a world obsessed with achievement, purple's humility is a gift. 5. Myth and storytelling. Purple births the hero's journey. Before there were books or branding, there were oral traditions, stories told by firelight to pass on wisdom, warn of danger, and remind us who we are. As coaches, marketers, and leaders, we are still using purple's playbook, metaphors, archetypes, transformational tales. Purple knows that stories are how the soul learns. The shadows of purple. For all its heart and intuition, purple is not without its shadows. When this stage is overexpressed or distorted, it can become fearful, rigid, and dangerously superstitious. Let's explore the key shadow aspects. 1. Fear-based thinking. Because purple lacks scientific understanding, it often explains the unknown with fear. A child gets sick, it's a curse. A storm hits, and the gods are angry. Something good happens, don't speak of it, you'll jinx it. This makes purple reactive and anxious, always trying to appease unseen forces rather than understanding reality. In modern coaching, clients may feel blocked by invisible forces. They might believe their success depends on crystals, ceremonies, or the right energy without taking real action. This isn't intuition, it's insecurity dressed in spiritual clothing. 2. Tribal control. Purple protects its own, but that protection can turn into exclusion. If you're not one of us, you're not safe. If you leave the group, you'll be cursed. If you question the elders, you'll be cast out. This is how cults form. And while the word tribe is trendy in business, it can mask dangerous dynamics. Coaches who create dependency, leaders who become unquestionable, peer groups that disagree with growth beyond the group. True tribe empowers. Shadow tribe controls. 3. Magical thinking. Purple believes it can influence reality through dance, prayer, chanting, charms, superstition. This becomes a shadow when it disconnects someone from cause and effect. You can't manifest your way out of every challenge. Sometimes you need a strategy, a decision, a plan. Shadow purple wants to feel good. Mature purple wants to integrate intuition with action. 4. Lack of personal identity. In purple, the individual self dissolves into the group. There is little room for personal boundaries, unique desires, rebellion, or independence. This creates internal conflict in clients who are ready to grow, but fear outshining their family, culture, or group. They'll sabotage process because deep down, success feels like a betrayal. 5. Stuck in the past. Purple worships tradition. It clings to how we've always done things, even when those ways no longer serve. This shows up as resistance to innovation, fear of new technology, loyalty to systems that keep people small. Purple's reverence becomes a prison when it refuses to evolve. To coach someone stuck in the shadows of purple, you don't need to fight them. You need to help them feel safe enough to grow. Show them that questioning isn't abandonment, it's alignment. Purple in business and coaching. Stage purple is often dismissed in modern business circles, seen as primitive or irrelevant. But if you know what to look for, purple shows up everywhere, especially in coaching, brand building, and leadership cultures. Let's decode how. 1. Purple in business. In the business world, purple energy emerges in places like startup origin stories. Founders often mythologize their beginnings, the garage, the basement, the first client who believed. These stories create a sacred narrative that bind early team members and inspires loyalty. Rituals and rhythms, weekly team huddles that start with a mantra, company initiations or inside jokes, celebrating wins with symbolic gestures. These aren't just habits, they're rituals. They make people feel like they belong to something deeper than a paycheck. Symbols and identity. Matching merch, logos, hashtags, naming communities, the tribe, the movement, the fam, brand colors, and iconography used as modern day totems. This taps into Purple's love of identity through symbols. It's not just branding, it's belonging. 2. Purple in coaching clients. Clients in Stage Purple often talk about energy and alignment more than strategy. They feel held back by ancestral familial expectations, struggle with decision making, preferring to feel it out. Seek safety and emotional support before taking action. They don't want tactics. They want to know, will I be okay if I do this? Purple clients are deeply emotional, intuitive, and loyal. So, how to coach Purple? To serve someone in Purple, honor their intuition, don't mock it, mirror it. Use questions like, what does your gut say? Is there a part of you that already knows? Then guide them gently to action. Purple can't evolve in chaos. Give them structure, predictability, and warm encouragement. Use metaphor and story. Purple learns through fables, not frameworks. Use analogy-rich coaching, like imagine you're the first bird leaving the nest. What do you need before you fly? Acknowledge their loyalty. Let them know. Growth doesn't mean betrayal. They can honor where they came from and create something new. When done right, coaching Purple clients is deeply rewarding. They don't need speed. They need safety, symbolism, and soul. How Purple views other stages. Purple doesn't compare stages intellectually, it feels them. Its judgments aren't analytical, they're emotional, based on resonance and rejection. Here's how Purple experiences the rest of the spiral. Red, powerful but scary. Purple is both drawn to and afraid of red. Red feels strong, decisive, protective, like a warrior, but it also threatens the tribe's harmony and safety. Purple will often submit to Red's leadership if it feels that Red can protect the group. But if Red becomes too domineering, Purple retreats into superstition or withdrawal. Purple to Red. I'll follow you if you protect me, not if you overpower me. Blue. Respectable but cold. Blue's rules and systems feel rigid to Purple. Where Blue demands obedience, Purple craves connection. Blue says, follow the law. Purple says, follow your ancestors. Still, Purple may adopt Blue's traditions, religion, and rituals if they echo its values. Purple to Blue. I'll respect your rules if they honor the old ways. Orange. Ambitious but disconnected. Orange confuses Purple. It's fast, loud, competitive, talks in data, ROI, and performance, a language foreign to Purple's soul. Orange's independence feels lonely. Its goals feel hollow. Purple to Orange. What's the point of success if you lose your people? Yet, Purple may admire Orange's resources and long for its freedoms, but it won't follow Orange until it feels safe. Green. Kind, finally. Green is the first stage that truly validates Purple. It welcomes intuition, it honors inclusion, it values emotion, community, and story. To purple, green feels like a long-lost sibling. But green's idealism and everything is equal mindset can sometimes overwhelm purple's sense of tribal loyalty. Purple to green. I love your heart, but don't ask me to abandon my roots. Yellow. Wise but distant. Yellow's systems thinking is far beyond purple's world. Purple doesn't need maps, it needs meaning. Yellow may appreciate purple as the foundation of human development, but purple doesn't always feel seen by yellow. Purple to yellow. Don't just study me, hold me. Understanding these perceptions matters because when helping someone evolve from purple, you must introduce the next stage carefully. You can't just sell them the benefits. You have to make them feel emotionally safe enough to let go. Transitioning out of purple. Leaving purple is not a logical decision. It's an emotional rapture. People don't exit the tribe stage because they decide to evolve. They leave because something breaks the bond or something pulls them beyond it. Here's how it often happens. Separation or loss. A person is rejected by the tribe, abandoned by a family member, uprooted from their community, or experiences a trauma that shatters the trust in the way it's always been. This creates a painful void, a sense of exile, confusion, and fear. At first, the person may try to double down on traditions or rituals, but eventually they begin to ask questions. If the tribe couldn't protect me, what else is out there? Exposure to power. Red. Sometimes a purple individual meets someone who embodies red energy, fierce, independent, unapologetic, and suddenly they see another way to exist. This can be inspiring or terrifying. They might say, I didn't know I was allowed to be that bold. That spark begins the unraveling of unquestioned loyalty to the tribe. The promise of more. In rare cases, purple individuals are drawn out of their stage, not by trauma, but by curiosity or ambition. They encounter ideas, tools, or mentors that show them a new reality. They begin to imagine a life where they make their own decisions, chase their own goals, build something new. This is the beginning of red. The emotional landscape of transition. Moving out of purple brings up guilt. Am I betraying my roots? Fear. Who am I without my people? Anger. Why didn't anyone tell me there was more? Excitement. What if I'm meant for something bigger? This cocktail of emotions is overwhelming. It's why people often oscillate between purple and red for years. As a coach, leader, or expert, if you're supporting someone in transition, don't rush their grief. Don't dismiss their loyalty. Don't try to fix their confusion. Instead, be the bridge. Affirm their origins. Normalize the discomfort. Invite them into possibility. You don't have to abandon where you came from to become who you're meant to be. This is the essence of respectful evolution. When the person is ready, they won't just break away. They'll step forward with reverence and resolve. How to coach stage purple effectively. Coaching someone at stage purple isn't about shifting mindsets. It's about building trust in a world that feels unstable. This stage doesn't respond to logic, data, or disruption. It responds to relationship, ritual, and resonance. Here's how to meet them where they are. 1. Lead with safety, not strategy. Purple isn't looking for a 5-step framework. It's looking for someone who feels safe, someone who reminds them of home. Ask, what helps you feel grounded? Who do you trust the most and why? What does safe mean to you? When you understand what safety looks like for them, you gain access to their world. Honor their origins. Never mock, belittle, or dismiss tribal customs, no matter how outdated they may seem to you. Purple believes my ancestors are watching. If you undermine the tribe, you lose influence. Instead, ask, what traditions mean the most to you? What stories were passed down in your family? What rituals or routines help you feel connected? This builds rapport and demonstrates respect. 3. Speak through story. Purple learns best through parables, myths, analogies, personal testimony. If you want to teach a concept, turn it into a tale. Don't say your nervous system is deregulated. Instead say, it's like you're a deer in the forest, always listening for the rustle of danger. They'll feel that. 4. Use repetition, rhythm, and ritual. Purple integrates ideas slowly through repetition and ceremony. Ways to coach this: create opening and closing rituals in your sessions. Use consistent language and metaphors. Build routines that feel sacred, not clinical. You're not offering tools, you're helping them anchor a new way of being. 5. Validate their loyalty. Purple clients often stay too long in toxic jobs, relationships, or roles. Fear letting people down, ignore their own needs to uphold group harmony. Don't criticize this. Instead, affirm the strength behind it. I see how loyal you are. That's a rare and powerful quality. What would it look like to show some of that loyalty to yourself? This opens a door. 6. Be a bridge, not a bulldozer. As they begin to outgrow purple, don't force evolution, don't rush independence, don't label tradition as limiting. Instead, help them connect the spirit of the past to the possibility of the future. What if honoring your tribe meant becoming the strongest version of yourself? This makes transformation feel like a continuation, not a betrayal. Stage purple is a sacred space. If you enter it with reverence, empathy, and gentleness, you can help people heal ancient wounds and step into their own magic. Why purple still matters. In our fast-paced world of innovation, individuality, and disruption, it's easy to dismiss stage purple as primitive, outdated, superstitious, but that would be a mistake. Purple holds something we've almost forgotten how to value: belonging without performance, connection without condition, wisdom without credentials. Purple doesn't ask, what can you do? It asks, where do you belong? And in a time where more people feel isolated, anxious, and untethered than ever before, that question might be the most healing of all. Purple preserves what progress often destroys. Where orange tears down, purple protects. Where green equalizes, purple remembers. Where yellow abstracts, purple grounds. It's the stage that keeps the fire burning even when the village is asleep. It holds the stories, the ancestors, and the invisible threads that tie us to one another. Without purple, we lose the soul. You can build the biggest business, scale the most optimized funnel, or become a world-class coach. But if you've lost your connection to meaning, to the felt sense of safety and spirit, it all begins to hollow. Purple is what fills the temple, is what makes rituals feel sacred, what reminds us that there's more to life than progress and profit. Integration is the goal. We don't need to regress to purple, but we do need to reclaim what it offers. The healing power of community, the grounding strength of tradition, the beauty of being a part of something older, deeper, and wiser than ourselves. Because only when we remember where we've come from can we fully step into where we're going. In the end, we don't transcend purple by abandoning it. We transcend it by honoring it. The future belongs to those who can move forward without forgetting who built the path behind them.